Welcome to the Artist Advocate. I'm Althea Rene, your host, and this is your one stop for all things music. Today we have our special guest, Doc Robinson.
What's up, Althea?
I'm so happy to have you on my show today to so everybody can kind of get to know you a little bit better. Everybody has their take, but
Right.
Today we're going to find out. We're going to dig a little deeper.
Real dirt. Well, almost.
So I know you've been in Atlanta for quite a few years.
20 years.
20 years. Okay.
Yeah, it's been 20 years. I can't believe it.
It's a little bit about how you came to Atlanta and got started doing what you do.
Well, I was in the military. I retired in DC, and then I moved here with my family. And so I think it was like 2003. So really got started with the jazz station at the time, Smooth Jazz 107.5. Mm-hmm. And my third or fourth day here, I ended up doing their my first event with them off the cuff, because they didn't think I could pull it off. So they said, okay, we got 3 days. Can you pull it off? I'm like, I could do that. So we did an event called Artscape 2003. And that was the very first event I did with them. I pulled a bunch of artists together like Marcus Johnson and Joey Somerville. And we just pulled it off in a couple of days of me arriving here.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's just that kind of started the whole thing. And then after that, I started doing a lot of the events for the Smooth Jazz station at the time. So, and then came the Maple House Barnes Amphitheater with Wade Ford. So I did that as far as the booking agent and promoter for like 11 years for the Wade Ford series.
Okay, I remember that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was it. So would you say that it was something that kind of fell in your lap, or was it something that you've always wanted to do? And
I did the same thing in DC and Maryland area, so it just kind of followed me. And then I came here and just kind of jumped in with both feet and just kept it going.
So what would you say as a promoter, booking agent, what kind of skills would you need to if you wanted to be on that side of it?
Well, it's a term I like to say called rigid flexibility.
Okay. What does that mean?
That means that you have to be able to roll with the punches. You have to be patient, but you have to be stern at the same time. You have to demand to get what you need, but you have to be able to adjust for the things you can't get, and come up with a plan B, C, D, E, F, G, and just keep it moving.
So how would you say that from the time that you started in, you said 2003?
Here.
Yeah. Because I know there was a time that maybe you were dealing with more local bands that were the band, you were hiring a band that came in, and then there probably came a time where you had to put a band together for the artist. And how was that transition?
Well, it was pretty smooth, because most of the artists that I brought in, I had a relationship with them because I actually started my company in 1996. Mm-hmm. It started from a newsletter called Doc's Jazz Beat. And then at the time I was in the military. So I was arranging and producing military in-stores and the PXs and the BXs around the country. So that's where a lot of the smooth jazz, in particular artists like Peter White, Michelle Terrell, George Duke, that's where they knew me from.
Okay.
So I had that relationship. And in DC, I did stuff at the BET Soundstage and other places in DC as well. Warm Daddies in Philadelphia. So there, I just had, I think everything in this business comes from relationships.
So you're actually from Philadelphia?
I'm from Philly, West Philly, born and raised.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, there are quite a few people in the business who are from Philadelphia that I've met.
Yeah, it's a serious music town. I mean, just from the time I was a kid until now, and I'm really proud of the way that the artists have kind of stood on the shoulders of, people that I knew, when I was a child, and they're keeping it going, like, Jeff Bradshaw, Eric Roberson, people like that are really, standing on the shoulders of people that were starting out when I grew up.
Okay. And so I know that I think I met you probably somewhere 2003 to '04 maybe.
Yes.
Yeah. And it was, you always seemed to be a part of like the pulse of like the hottest clubs, and and how do you pick your artists that you end up calling for those types of events?
Well, it's funny you should say that because recently, maybe the last 5 or 6 years, I've actually just picked a lot of people off of YouTube, Instagram, their performances, people that are in groups with other artists. And I look for certain things, because I don't want to feel like I'm promoting them more than they want to promote themselves.
Okay.
So I look for that hunger and thirst, people that are on their grind, that's really trying to step up to the next level, that has all of their platforms where they need to be, for people to want to book you and do a show with you.
How important is having your own original music to getting booked, in your opinion?
I think it's important because, like, even just without being in music, it's very easy to be yourself. But a lot of times it's not easy when you're trying to be someone else. There's one Marvin Gaye, there's one Earth, Wind and Fire, there's one, Shaka Khan. So when you're not Shaka Khan in those other groups, it's hard to be them, but it's easy to be yourself. So that's where original music is real important to me.
Are you, what is your stance on tribute shows?
I think that as a promoter, if the artist is not well known, then, I always say the more light in the room, the brighter the room is. So if you're saying that you're coming to do a show, but you also are doing a tribute, they may not know you, but they may know the artist that you tribute. And so once you get established as an artist that does a tribute, then you can kind of branch out and then start introducing your own stuff.
Okay. And I know that over the years you've branched out and not only have promoted clubs, but you've promoted other things too. Can you tell us some of the things that you've promoted?
We've done the Life Lux Jazz Festival in Los Cabos for 3 years. We did the Aruba Jazz Festival, I said Los Cabos, but we also took a group to the Havana Jazz Festival. So that was an amazing trip.
That's a bucket list.
I got to interview Bobby Caucasus, who started the festival 45 years ago.
Wow.
I got to go to 3 or 4 schools and take them books and instruments. They performed for us. And it was just an amazing once-in-a-lifetime show, event. So yeah, I can't wait to go back there.
Yeah, I got some flutes I'd like to donate, but only if I'm there.
Oh yeah, I mean, and it's not that hard to get there. We're actually planning on going back. In 25.
Yeah, and I definitely want to get some artwork. I just love Cuban art. Wow. Yeah. So that's a whole nother thing. But so when COVID came about, can you tell me how you dealt with that? Because I mean,
oh my God. I think that I tell people I went to YouTube college and got another doctor's degree. And so I started doing podcasts. I started playing, you're coming this week to the Sweet Jazz Series. We're in our 11th year and we've done over 475 shows there. That's crazy. So I started doing podcasts, but I was playing the live tracks that I had recorded at the time over 8 years.
Okay.
So I was able to stay online and, not being able, they didn't cut me off or anything. And I did over 100 podcasts in that period of time.
Wow.
And then I started other podcasts with Paul Hardcastle, yourself, and other people.
Yeah.
So it was a big learning curve, but I learned a lot during that period of time, and things you think you can't do, but you put your mind to it and you do it, So it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed talking and learning about people, a lot of things you didn't know about them.
Yeah. So how long of a time would you say between, we know 2020 was a bust, 2021 was kind of iffy, especially the first half. How long did it really take for everything from your end and your perspective to actually come back to normal or the new
13
normal?
months.
13 months. Wow. So you know right
Trust
away.
me, I know. 13 months, no shows, and I tell people, it's you're in the music world, but it's like being a doctor and saying you can't practice, not just in this town, not just in your office, anywhere.
Okay.
For 13 months.
Yeah.
Tell somebody that you can't do what you trained to do at all.
Right.
And that was the only time in history, the second time in history, in American history, that has ever happened. And it happened 100 years ago when they had the other pandemic.
Right. So I have a question for you.
Sure.
Just in terms of promoters, the different promoters in the city, do you all have any kind of, is there a membership or a camaraderie, or is there a coming together of promoters, or?
No.
Okay.
No. I would like that.
Do you feel? Yeah, that was my next question.
I would like to be able to sit down and say, "Hey, Bill, you bring it out there in May. I'm going to circle back in December. I don't want to step on your toes." But I do have a few people that do that with me.
Okay.
But it's not many. Okay. Like TK with the Perfect Note, he will always call and say, "Doc, I don't want to step on your toes. I'm just letting you know I'm bringing Althea in," and I really appreciate that respect.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, my goal is to promote music in many places as possible. So a lot of people that have worked with me and for me are at other venues, spreading the love of live music.
Yeah, and I think that there's definitely enough love. I don't think it should ever just be just one place doing live entertainment. I think I remember my dad and mom talking about Black Bottom in Detroit. I never saw it, or of course it was long gone, but where there was just rows of jazz clubs, and you just went and you could go in and out of jazz clubs, and I've never seen that in my lifetime. There's always been like one place and then maybe another place on another night.
Right.
But not just in one strip where you could just go and experience different types of jazz. So I definitely think that there's room for everyone, but my next question would be, how important now is radio to helping to promote and get the word out for jazz events?
Short answer, not very.
Okay.
I think they could do better. Let's take it to the root cause. Let's take it to jazz stations. There's only like 12 jazz stations left in this country, so you can't do a good job if you're not on the air.
Right.
And so that's why in a lot of festivals, producers and promoters mix what they call jazz festivals with R&B acts, because they can advertise it on a bigger station.
I see. Okay.
So I think what promotes jazz the most right now is social media.
Okay. Yeah. I think that unfortunately it's still a thing where when you say there's not enough explanation for the genres of jazz. I think live entertainment is a better definition than to say smooth jazz. Because then if you say, "Oh, I don't like smooth jazz," you've just cut out so many different genres that people can fall into that I think live music really covers.
Yeah. Or just jazz.
Yeah.
Just jazz.
Yeah.
You go there, you figure it out if you like it or not, but it's a jazz show.
Yeah.
Just like a rock show, just like classical music, it's just call it jazz. And jazz is a lot of things,
It is.
Just like rock and roll is, just like country music is.
Yeah.
It's all spread apart, so you can't put people in the box. And then the other thing, getting on that subject is like this kind of unwritten war with contemporary versus straight ahead, and one feeling one way about you, the other one feel, oh, you really can't play, and the other one, well, that's boring and slow. So the realm within the jazz community doesn't get along.
Yeah, yeah. I think you know, and I have I feel like there's room for everyone to express how they want to express themselves. Again, you
Yeah,
know, it's an expression, and jazz in it is an expression. And I don't think that you should say that one person can't play because they're not playing straight ahead, or the person who's playing straight ahead is boring because they're not playing a mixture of R&B or whatever. So
right.
I think that there's an audience for both, and yeah, there's enough room for everyone. I really do.
And
Um,
I don't know who said it, but they said there's only two types of music. Good music
good
and
and
bad music. That's
bad.
it.
Absolutely. And I appreciate, I know I listen to, depending on my mood, that's really kind of what dictates what kind of music I like. I really don't like to say, I don't like this kind of music, because have you heard all of the music in that genre to make that statement?
Correct.
So I stopped saying, I don't like this, you know, and I just try to be present and have an open mind and think about, where I am and
Yeah.
feel, yeah.
Well, and along those lines, I think I've been guilty of trying to make myself like something that I don't like.
Oh, okay.
Because, well, this is a classic, this is this and that, and you're not a jazz purist if you don't listen to this, and if you listen
Right,
to it, you don't like it, you don't like it. That
right.
doesn't mean you're not a jazz head.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So where do you see the future of promoters? There's not like a school for promoters or promotions. Um, where do you see it going?
Well, I'll back up where people will come to the shows and you got a nice suit on or whatever, and they go, "Oh man, that looks like so much fun what you do, man. I wish I could do that." And I say, "Well, let me quickly give you the litmus test for being a promoter. So if you can sit up and watch the NBA playoffs at your place, and you can open the door and throw $3,000 out in the street and go back and finish watching the game, then you have the attitude to be a promoter. You're able to be a promoter if that doesn't bother you, because sometimes that's what it feels like. So if you don't have thick skin and you're not tough like that, then I suggest that's not for you.
Yeah,
But
go ahead.
I think well, jazz overall and live shows overall, because of the pandemic, people started to go out and go, well, there's nothing like a live show.
Yeah,
And so I think it's really coming about. And I will say about jazz, if you look at the Grammys for the last 5 years, who has been the overall winners over everybody? Samara Joy didn't just become the new artist of the year. She beat out 10 people in all categories to get going. Robert Glasper, goes on and on.
phenomenal artist. Yeah.
The last 5 years, jazz has been dominating.
Okay.
I mean, it's the first year last year that a hip hop or rap record didn't make it to number one.
Wow. Wow.
So yeah, people want to hear the 3 R's, real artists, real instruments, real music.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in that realm, this real stuff, people want real stuff, the Chuck Taylor Converses, they want the real stuff. So this thing is coming back. It's here.
Yeah, and I see that at the festivals and the shows that people really come out, and I see it. It's a very vibrant scene, and we don't have in the jazz community. We don't have a lot of the issues that other groups have. We don't have the violence. We don't have
Correct.
the disagreements. Everybody is chill. I mean, I don't care what color you are. Everybody comes out for the same thing, and that's to just enjoy and have a good time and just vibe together. And I think that's the most beautiful thing that I see on a continuous basis is that jazz shows, there's no place for religion, and
Judgment.
politics, and
Yeah.
racism and that kind of thing. I mean, we just all get together and it's just love. And I really, really appreciate that.
Well, and it's the genre where you're 98% guaranteed you're gonna have grown folks.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
You know, doing grown folks things, and and sometimes that's what you want, to be amongst other grown folks.
That's right. Who have lived, who have prospered in life, and who don't want drama. They just want to come and have a good time. They don't want to on stage. Like my mic, it broke on a show over the weekend. I had another mic. I have like two of everything, two flutes, two mics.
Right.
So I just took that mic off, put another one on, and if that one didn't work, I'd get on the front mic. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm not going to do is complain to the people that paid money to come and see you. They want a show. They don't want to hear you complain.
Right.
And that's the thing with artists. I think it's important that that as an artist that you also should promote your own shows, because then you.
Well, that's a big subject.
Yeah,
for me.
Because then you are a promoter and you can put yourself in the position of the promoter who's promoting your show, and that means you have a stake in at least getting it out on your social media and doing a video and promoting your shows. Because you're vested in this as well.
Well, I mean, it happens to me, and they even go further to tell me, well, I'm not the promoter, you're the promoter. I'm just there to do a show. And then I go, well, I do have a webpage for that, and it's called stayathome.com. So, yeah, because you can't, I understand that they're not going to do all the little things that I do to promote a show.
Well, yeah, of course.
You that. But if I have to keep, call you, can you post a flyer? Can you
you post a flyer.
It's not like back in the day when I started, I have a stapler and I'm on telephone poles and I'm clipping up posters and banners and I'm going door to door and I'm handing out 10,000 flyers. I'm not even asking them to do that. I did that.
Yeah.
I'm just asking you to push the button and say I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, it's not my show. I had plenty of people at my birthday bash, so it's not my show. And so you were mentioning about complaining, it's kind of the double whammy for me, because not only am I the producer and promoter, as you know, most of the time I'm the host. So I'm on the stage and you feel like you want to get angry because not enough people in your thought are at the show, but you're like, wait, you're talking to the people that's already here. You're not talking to them, but you have this feeling. So you have to squash that feeling of these people are here. They pay their money. They're not the ones you need to talk to about that.
So is there any last words that you'd like to say? Anything to,
Well, first of all, I have enjoyed our friendship for 20 years.
I
have enjoyed seeing your growth.
Thank you.
I have enjoyed all of our conversations like this and more about the industry, our hurts, our joys about it, what we're feeling, where we need to go, your thought about music, listening to my antics and stuff. And I've just really, really enjoyed your career and what I've seen you do.
Thank you. And tomorrow, and on Thursday, we're going to be doing it again at Sweet.
Yes.
So,
Lounge.
Yeah. So we got a great group of guys that's going to be backing me.
We're bringing the hot sauce, baby.
Yeah. I had to, plan out my outfit. I'm my own stylist.
Yeah, no, there's that.
So as
video about the shopping in Atlanta.
Oh yeah, I love the shopping. I love the food. The food is always off the chain. Guys have the best breakfast spots probably of anybody, because that one place that has the stuffed waffles.
Oh yeah.
The peach cobbler or the apple pie.
Yes.
So. Yeah, but I've always enjoyed it, and I've enjoyed, working with you and just our friendship over the years as well. So, to any promoters out there that are just starting out, what would you tell them?
Just be patient, be honest. If there's something you can't do and it's not going to happen, don't hide, communicate, because artists will work with you as long as you communicate. But when you start hiding and they can't catch you and they're trying to call you, hey man, hey, what's going on, bro? We good? And so the best thing to do, you get in trouble with a show, communicate.
Because it can go bad. I have worked with some
anything can go bad
that you never hear from again. They completely bomb on a show, don't pay any of the artists, and you never hear from them. I mean, their career is over. They can't buy an act, you know.
Right.
Even if they have the money later, nobody will work with them. So
right.
I think that's really important. That
man, those are mistakes I'm saying from personal experience, because you get scared. You're like, oh man, it's not gonna work. But you find out later, the artist will come to you and say, all you had to do was just talk to me, bro. I had you. All you had to do is talk to me and say, something wasn't gonna happen, blah blah blah. All you had to do was talk to me.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I'm sure this will help. Oh, also, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Docs Jazzbeat, or my webpage, the Jazzbeat Promotions. That's on promotion on beats, one word, jazzbeatpromotions.com. And
if an artist wants to, submit material, how, can they do that?
You can email me at jazzbeatpromotions@gmail.com.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, this is your girl Althea Rene, and I'm hosting my first Smooth Jazz Cruise, and I hope to see you there. Foster Perry Travel presents Jazz on the Water, October 13th through October 20th. We will rock the high seas with my musical guest, the saxophone sensation discovered by Prince, B.K. Jackson, and James Lloyd, the keyboard killer from Pieces of a Dream. We'll also be dancing the night away with Houston's line dance leader, Janice My Style Davis. We sail on Royal Caribbean's new luxurious cruise ship, the Wonder of the Seas, from Port Canaveral, Florida, visiting the beautiful East Caribbean, docking in Coco Cay, St. Thomas, and St. Martin. Get your cabins now at AltheaReneJazzCruise.com.